All right, man. Welcome to Man in the Middle. I'm your host, Ab Judah. This is a show where mothers meet mentors to find solutions for our young men in the community. Today, we are talking about helping young men find a voice, helping them build their confidence up so they can go out in the world, become, you know, positive contributors to society and leaders in the community. We have our moderator for the night, Bianca. Bianca, what's up, man?
Hey y'all. Like Ab said, my name is Bianca. I am a mom. I'm a sports mom of a 6-year-old, and that is my most important role that I will ever hold. But outside of that, I'm a founder, a capital strategist, and a philanthropist. This is a beautiful thing to be on this platform with such amazing people, such dope and amazing moms, just to share their experiences on what it's like being a mom to young boys or just young people in general in today's society. So I know today's topic is pretty much like, helping them find this voice and create that space in between just not losing that child, losing that connection and that bond with your child and not being overbearing. There's a healthy balance with that. So I kind of want to open the floor to you guys and just tell me, like, introduce yourself, say where you're at, how old your child is, and what are some of the things that you have noticed in your child where it's like, okay, is there a fine line between me being overbearing and me creating that space? And if he feel he or she feels like I am being overbearing, would they voice their opinion? Would they speak up for themselves? So whoever wants to start, on, if Lauren or Britt, you want to go first?
Hey everyone, I'm Lauren. I am a teacher of kindergartners, and I have a son who's 8 years old. He is a wildly independent, um, confident individual. Yes, and his voice is there. A lot of times we have conversations. We try to wind down at nighttime a little bit earlier because that's when he gets all of his thoughts out. When he comes to the door, I'm like, "How was your day?" He's like, "Oh, good," and I'm like, "Anything happened today?" "Yeah, no." And then when he's winding down, that's when he's like saying all the things and talking about all the conversations that were had at lunchtime and different things like that. So our wind down time is nighttime. Um, and I asked him, like, "Hey, can I give you some advice about your friend?" I do ask when it comes to peer stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and sometimes, it's funny because he's like, "Mom, stay in your lane." Like, no, I'm going, I'm going to go ask my dad, or I'm going to go ask Uncle Kel, or,
Yeah.
someone in his male village that we trust. So, we are moving and grooving and finding that balance of like, your mom, stay over there. Sometimes I can come to you, and then sometimes I got to go somewhere else.
I love that. And something you pointed out that I think every mom, every parent, but moms especially specifically face with the kids is like, okay, how was your day? And everybody just says a general statement like it's good. Basically, like, get out my face. Like, that's all I gotta say for you. So something that I noticed that has been helping me with my son is I have to be very intentional with that question, and I have to be very specific. So sometimes I might change it and say, what made you smile today? Because that will open the door for you to talk to me more versus saying it was all right or it was good. So I don't know, Brett, have you experienced that? Like, just like, all right, let me just say anything so she can shut up and go on about her business.
Yes, so I'm Brittany. I have an 11-year-old, and then I started all over. I have a 11-month old. Um, so with my 11-year-old, obviously that's where we're in this space. So I have found basically the same thing. I get the, pick them up, how was school, good. It's not much conversation until I get quiet. And then later on or on the ride home, because we have a pretty long ride home some days with traffic. Or like once we get home and something happens, and then it's like, Mom, let me tell you what happened today. Or if he comes to the car angry, I can get it immediately. So it's
Yeah.
like, well, what happened? So, and he wants to tell his side of the story. He wants to make sure he's not in trouble. It wasn't my fault, but this is what happened. But I have learned with him also, like the more I back off and just allow him to kind of, I guess, digest his day, then I get more information. But if I'm a little aggressive with it, like, well, what you do, I do ask the questions. Well, what did you have for lunch? Or,
Mhm.
you finish all your homework, because they do their homework in study hall, things like that. Then we'll get a little bit of conversation. But if I'm too aggressive, he'll just completely shut down. So
Yeah.
yeah, basically the same thing as everyone has pretty much said. And then he's a sports kid too, so if he hears me, like, things will happen in his games, and he may not talk about it right away, but if he hears me, or like a couple of weeks ago, Mom, why were you at the score table? So I get that, and it's just like I gotta explain myself at that point. But yeah.
I love
Why were you at the score table?
it.
Huh? What's going on?
Listen, I had to make sure everybody was playing fair, okay? Even the the people taking the score.
So in other words, he was trying to make sure you wasn't about to embarrass him.
Exactly. Like, I know you, like, I let you live during the game because I needed to focus. However, let's talk about why you went over to the score table during the game.
Yes. Yeah. And how was that like dynamic for you? And I know you work with a lot of kids and young boys too, but how was that dynamic for you, like growing up with your mom and like you over there and you in my space, you too much in my business, or was it like an open door policy?
Um, my mom, she asked the same question, right? Like, how was school or whatever. And I gave the same. It was cool, man. It was good. But I used to, I don't know, like, I didn't mind sharing certain things with my mom. Like, I didn't mind having that conversation, or including her in parts of my day. Um, I wasn't really, I didn't feel the need like I was trying to, like, that she wasn't somebody I could relate to. Like, there was some clear differences. Like, there was certain things I wasn't going to share with her. It just wasn't going to happen. For one,
Right.
I didn't even feel comfortable that I was experiencing it. I didn't think she could relate. It was just like too many barriers for me to even like vocalize. I thought she would, like, what I'm saying, have an issue with it,
Yeah.
So it was kind of things I was just like, let me just figure this out before I even come to you. But when I got older and I realized, like, I got older, I realized at some point in time, like, she was my age. Like, she was my age, and we
Right.
might not be having the same experiences at the same time, but like, there's no point in like keep trying to hide it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'd
Yeah.
rather just get it off my chest and out of my mind. You know what I mean? So that came a little later. We became cooler. Like, that was like high school. But,
Yeah.
but before that, it was, I ain't really have nothing to I ain't have nothing to add to the conversation for real.
Yeah, and I know for Lauren and Brett, like y'all boys are a little bit older than mine, but I feel like I got tested the other day with my son because he was like, "Mommy," I'm like, "What's up?" And he was like, "Man, I got 3 girlfriends,"
Mm.
and I felt like there was a trust test to see what my response was going to be. So I was like, dang, that's what's up. Like, did you introduce yourself? Like, what are the girls like? What grades are they in? He was like, one in kindergarten. Mind you, he's in first grade. One's in kindergarten, one in first grade, one in second grade.
Ooh.
Like, they just so pretty. So I was like, okay, well, do y'all play together? Do y'all talk? Because I'm not going to be like, you're too young. Like, I'm not going to do that with you because I know you tested me right now.
Mhm.
So I was like, well, do y'all play together? He was like, oh, no, 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 no. Like, I don't talk to him. And I was like, okay, well, they're not your girlfriends. They're just girls that you have crushes on. And I was like, I ain't mad at it, Playboy. Like, this is the age. You want to see pretty girls. You want to but in that moment, I was like, I think he's testing me. And I feel like I did pass the test. Like,
Mhm. Mhm.
she didn't freak out. She didn't overreact. She didn't yell at me. So I'm like, is this the beginning of us like building that type of bond? Like, is she really my safe space? I can talk to her about anything. So that put that at the forefront of my mind, like, oh my gosh. And I didn't know it started this early, and like immediately after that on Halloween, we seen one of the girls trick-or-treating. Like, and I've never seen him like his energy is like calm, cool, collected, but he was on full like, what's up? And I was like, like it's happening in front of me. Like, and I was just like, oh my God. Like he asked the girl, is if it's too cold out here, I can give you my jacket. Mind you, on Halloween, it was like 40 degrees that night.
What?
And I was like, no, you would not give her your jacket. Like, I'm sorry. Like, then he goes, I'm just so happened to randomly be talking to her mom. I didn't even know this was her mom. He comes in between. He like, excuse me, can I have your daughter's number?
What? What?
So now,
Oh wow.
my mind, I'm like, okay, we gonna have to put a little bit like, you need to be a little bit more smoother with it. You need to have some little Casanova to you. Like this is what I've noticed every to Yara. So I want to know, like, have y'all experienced that? And are they freely talking like this at 11 and 8?
No. I don't get that yet.
At all.
I
At
don't
all.
get that yet. It gives with Maverick, it's like if I say something about a girl, he be like, "Mom, chill." Like, nah. Like, no.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna just talk to my cousin, or I have my older cousins. Well, his younger cousin, my younger cousins, his older cousins, and he's like, I'm gonna just talk to them. I'm like, all right, go ahead.
Right.
So he has conversations with them, but that's not something. And I don't know if I'm ready, because I don't know if I'll be able to be like, oh, for real, like keep it cool. I don't know.
I wasn't ready, but
You're good, because I was
face on because I was like, this is a test. Like, okay. What about you, Britt?
Yeah, same thing. I get that, ma, chill. Come on, bruh. Like that bruh thing drives me insane. But I am that mom. Like I'm checking your phone, so I see like the little conversations. I make sure it's nothing inappropriate.
Yeah.
And, there's a type because they're looking at certain little girls online sharing pictures. Well, not little girls, but celebrities. So it's like, oh, she's pretty. So it's like, okay, now I understand. I have an idea of what you might be looking at when we're out. But and I say, it's I try to leave it alone, but same thing, like my brother, he'll talk to him sometimes, but if he feel like you going a little too deep in it where he don't want to share that, he just kind of back down. And mind you, both me and my son are Gemini. So that too, like
Oh yeah.
I know when he retreats, because that's me, it's like, okay, I'm gonna leave you alone. You'll circle back on me and that's cool. So it's interesting in our household with that.
sign is. What's your son's sign, Bianca?
He's a Leo.
Okay, yeah, that's that.
Oh, that explains it.
Yes.
So like he's a Leo, I'm a Pisces, so it's just like, oh, okay, this where we at with it. Like, okay.
Mhm.
And how would you like? What would be your advice to boy moms trying to navigate that space, even at younger ages as they get into the teen ages?
I mean, I think for you though, one thing I can say is you can see his respect. He went to the mom like, hey, even at his young age, it's like, can I have your daughter's number? Is it okay if I call? Because a lot of young men don't have that. Nowadays looking at some of these young men out here, and I'll say young men, but young boys, and they just so rude and disrespectful when, like you guys, we were talking earlier, that even when adults are present. So for him to know, like, I can go to this lady and ask for her daughter's, I think she's pretty. Let me ask her mom, can I call her? Like that's kind of something back in the day, when you had to call and ask, can I speak to your daughter type conversation. But I mean, I think it's good that, to the extent, to our topic, like he has a voice, he knows how to use his voice.
Yeah.
Now, do we have to reel him back sometimes? Absolutely, yes, because mine will use his voice. He'll play shy, but then his days I'm like, come on, dude, like, really?
Absolutely.
Can you like, I don't feel like it. Your mother, like, we're gonna get into something here because you just, or he'd be like, ma, chill before somebody hear you. So I think it's good that he has a voice. I think it's good that, it shows he has that respect and that you give him that space to be. You don't try to, no, because some moms can be what I feel to be eerie. No, I'm your girlfriend, or no, you can't have no
Yeah.
girlfriend. You only have mommy. And it's like, I get it, but at the same token, you gotta explain that because you don't want them to grow up thinking the wrong you have mommy, your mommy's your
Yeah.
girlfriend. Like that can get weird. That space can get really weird.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that actually because I was just telling somebody that boy mom dynamic is a slippery slope.
It
Like
is.
it can be a dangerous game in some circumstances, and it's like even at my son's young age, I always tell him, I'm like, like the other day we were washing and folding clothes, and I'm like, okay, you want to take your clothes and fold them? He was like, yeah, I know how to fold. So I was like, okay, good. Because that's teaching you independence. Like, I'm not going to always be around. You're going to have your own family, your own household to run. Like, you have to learn how to do things on your own without a woman doing it for you. Point blank, period. Like a woman might not always be there. I'm not gonna always be there. You gotta handle it on your own. So he's like, okay. So I love that you said that because mothers that do that, whatever floats your boat, but it's like you could be creating a monster.
Could
Yeah.
You
for
are.
surely are. For sure. I seen a video this morning. The mom was like kissing her son in the mouth, like she had him. You seen it? Like she
Yeah,
had
she was straddled on him.
Like the kitchen.
No.
I'm like, this is
Yeah.
interesting. I don't know.
It can be very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was a little odd for me.
No,
And
me too.
it's crazy because sometimes I feel like is this your void you trying to fill from the dad, or and if you do see their dad in them, like that makes it even worse to me because it's like, come on, this is not a younger version of the man you
Very
laid
much
down and
so.
had this
Yeah.
child with. You got to be careful not to cross that. It's just I try to. My son knows, like, I'm not your friend, but I am your friend. I want you to be comfortable talking to me like you're comfortable talking to your friends, which I know you're not going to tell me everything you tell them. But
Yeah.
also, there's a boundary line, and I'm still your mother, and there's still a level of respect that you will give me as long as you're under my, even when you're not under my roof. Like, that's going
Absolutely.
to be what it is.
So
Absolutely.
the conversation for me is like, I never had those conversations with my mother about like,
Mhm.
I was never bringing girl stuff to her. Like I had a girlfriend in second grade, third grade, but like that wasn't. And this was back in the day when like if you pick it, and we was on the phone every day or whatever. And you was back in the day when anybody in the house could pick up the phone and listen to your conversation. So like she was on that type of time. Like she'll fake being out of the room listening to me talking to my girlfriend. I'll be like, oh, I know she's on the phone, bro. Like
Right.
my brother used to be like, yeah, she listening. I'm like, all right, cool. But like she never really asked me, anything in that regard, right? Like
Yeah.
she kind of just looked at it like, oh, this is some innocent, like, and even she was even to the point I was 21, she was still asking me, and I'm like, yeah, nah, I don't know. I don't know what you talking about. Like, I'm just gonna play dumb until I die, bro. Like,
Right.
we don't even have like,
Right.
like it's a little different now, I guess. Like, we wasn't having those kind of conversations. Like, that wasn't even something I wanted my mom to see.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't going out of my way to hide it from her, but like, I just never felt like super comfortable at that time, even venturing down that road. It seemed like none of y'all sons have this issue, right? Because like the thing I see in a lot of young men is that like they don't have the confidence to speak at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? I got boys in my room, I've never heard their voice before.
Yeah.
Like, we in the second quarter of school. Like I've never heard them speak out loud. Like I don't know what they sound like. They're like very timid, and there's always been people like this, of course, but like
Yeah.
the rhetoric that you hear online is that like men ain't men no more. They don't, you know what I'm saying? Even men say that, like, yo, these dudes, they don't stand up for nothing. They just like they play the background. They don't like, and I think that's dangerous for anybody,
Yeah.
right? I think that's dangerous
Yes.
for anybody, but for men specifically because like you're supposed to be the first layer of defense for your family, right? For the people next to you, for your community, like essentially. So like when you don't have that confidence to speak up for not only yourself but the people around you, like that's dangerous. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, people are gonna mistreat you for one because they know you're not gonna stand up for yourself. You know, and I don't even mean physically, but just like verbally, you're not even gonna like
Yes.
verbalize your thoughts. Like people are going to miscredit. You know, they're not going to give you the credit that you deserve because they can just take it from you, right? And you're not going to stand up for yourself in a room, or
Yeah.
all type of things can like when you don't have that. Even women can see it, like
For sure.
what I'm saying. Like women can see it when you don't have that confidence, that come from like they'll step on you. You know what I'm saying? I've seen people that I know experience this. Like they'll try to be like the super, like try to play the super gentleman role, and like some people will take advantage of you if you do that too much.
Yeah.
Like you gotta have a voice where like you can put a boundary. You can put a boundary in it. Like I was, I don't want to say this, but like my home, like I don't know how to word this, but like I was out one day, and you know how like sometimes women be like play fight hitting you and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't really like playing that game, right? So like we at the bar, and I was just like, don't touch me like that no more. Like it wasn't that deep, but like don't feel like it's okay to do that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like don't feel like that's cool. Like we just gonna be putting our hands on each other because I'm not gonna put my hands on you. Don't put your hands on me in like a playful type of thing like that. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like it's important. I don't even know where that came from, but I feel like it's important to kind of like set a boundary for whatever it is. Like, and if you don't got the confidence to be like, and I think for men a lot of times with women especially, like the lack of confidence comes from the fear of like, if she don't like this, she'll leave. And you gotta have the confidence. A man would be like, I don't give a fuck if she leave or not. Like, I'm gonna say what I gotta say, and if she got a problem with it, then at least I'm comfortable. I ain't mistreat her, I didn't disrespect her, but I'm not gonna like we're not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's a big part of it as well. Like
Yeah. I think that was a valid point because like just like you said, it does seem like all of our boys has the confidence piece and we're like nurturing that and sharpening up their skills with that. But I think with a lot of moms and boy moms, like Britt said, some mothers look at their sons in a different type of light. Like you're my man, you're the man of the house. So it's like certain things because they have that admiration for them, or I don't even know if admiration is the right word to use in that aspect, but because they're looking at them like that, they're ignoring the red flag. They're ignoring certain signs in their sons because they've accepted it from a grown man.
yeah.
So it's like with me, if I notice like sometimes if my son talk, he'll look away from people while he's talking. And I'm like, no. I used to do that when I was a kid myself, but that's something like a nervousness, a shyness in you. And I was like, you have to look at people when you're talking to them.
Yeah.
I know small talk can be like weird and uncomfortable when you're first learning how to navigate those conversations, but you have to look at people when you're talking to them. I was like, I tell him now, I was like, do you understand it's certain people in this world that pray, they'll study you and they pray on certain things about you? Like a lack of confidence, not speaking up for yourself, looking down at the ground when somebody's talking. People prey on certain people's weaknesses. So I think like, and I tell him like, this may go over your head right now because you're very young, but I also know you're very intelligent at the same time. So you might get what I'm saying, but you may not get what I'm saying. I think as women, I feel like all of us are on the same page just from like previous conversations and these episodes, but we understand that as a woman, we will never be able to, we're not a man, so I can't fully teach you how to be a man, right? My son knows this. I cannot teach you how to be a man. But as for me, confidence is universal.
Mm-hmm.
Like confidence is universal, whether you're a man or a woman. So like being in sports, I tell him all the time, like, just because these boys got their daddies on the side of the field or on the court, don't think they better than you. Because some of the dads, we know this, live through their kids, right? But I'm like, I always tell him, I'm like, it ain't a man big enough or strong enough that I won't step to behind you. That's confidence. You gotta have heart. No matter what you do,
That part.
you gotta be confident. You gotta have heart. Like, so I think it starts early, and I feel like the standard is not set because some women ignore the signs at an early age with their boys.
I think a lot of times, to your point, they skip steps. So
Yeah.
like they know at the end goal, like, okay, I want you to be a man. So like they start you off as the man of the house
Yeah.
instead of teaching you the things that you need to do in order to be the man of the house at some point. Because like right now, you're a young man, you're learning, like you're developing new skills. Like you don't have it all
Yep.
right now. And that's something that I have to tell this one, because I'm just like, you're not going to be perfect. Like he doesn't like a lot of feedback because he thinks like, I got it. I'm like, you are 8, you don't. Like,
Right.
because I'm 36 and I don't. So it's just like, we are all learning. You're definitely still learning. But I think in my mind, I know where I want him to be, later on in life. So you have to kind of backtrack. You kind of have to think like, okay, what is it that I need to teach him right now
Yeah.
to build on to the skills that he's going to need later on. So
Right.
I think, to your point, Bianca, like people just skip steps. Moms just skip steps. Like, you the man, this is what you're supposed to do, and don't give them the skills to even be successful.
Yes.
So
That was
It's
good.
kind of like that stereotype they put on women, like, you're a woman, you're supposed to take care of the house, do this. And I think, well, what I can say, it's a lot of men raising boys that have not dealt with their own emotional trauma. And it's being transferred to their boys, or the boys, not even their children necessarily, but to the boys they're coaching.
Yeah.
Like in that sports arena, you see them, all of that yelling, and you think your coach is just, strong. No, your coach has some serious traumas, and it's
and
showing. But this is
issues.
their space where they think it's okay to get it out. And um and to Bianca's point, my son, no, your mom, your mother does not have much fear. I'm gonna show up just like these dads do, just
Yeah.
like these moms. I don't care when they come to my kids. Give make my straight jacket pink and sparkly, because we are not playing that game. So it's never
I
an
know that's
issue.
right.
That's why he like, why are you? What are you at
Why
the
you at
floor
the
table for?
table?
Because I know how you can be. So yeah, I think that's part of the issue though. Like, and it's starting for whatever reason now in today's time. We're seeing it so much more where men's emotional trauma is taking over. Like, and they we want our boys to understand that it's okay to cry. Like, it's okay to get it out. Don't dwell on it. Don't let it hold you down. But there's so many men that don't know how to cry it out and talk it out and navigate through it and seek the help. Instead, it comes out in anger, or it comes out in lack of responsibility, or it comes out lack of accountability. And some of these are the same men that are raising boys. Like, and then you have those that won't raise their own, but then the best football coach on the East Coast, coaching 24 other kids, but
Mhm.
yours is sitting at home either being raised by somebody else, whether they're being raised by their mom, or whether it's a stepfather in the picture, or whatever the case may be. So it's just
Right.
that's yeah.
That's the
I'm glad
point.
that you touched on that, because I feel like you are right. Right, there is a lot of dudes who like don't they lack the emotional like awareness. Right, they can't even figure out like what their triggers are. They don't know how to like how to adjust themselves, or they can't like regulate. Right, they don't know how to regulate. So I think that's a big problem. But I also think the reason for that is because like men are trained to just shut up. Like you're not really like your opinion isn't held with any type of value for real. Like if you think about it, like even if you watch the TV shows like the sitcoms or whatever, like the dads, they be all dumb. They don't think about it, like the fathers be dumb. They don't be having no like opinion. They don't make no decisions. They just be like there. Like they just be placeholders to like make jokes at. Right. They don't really be strong fathers that make decisions that are respected and revered in their community. So like those kind of things transfer into the real world where like even women, like I be friend, like they don't respect men's opinion. It's kind of be like, nigga, what? Shut. It's like, what are you talking? We don't want to hear men. Like, we don't want to hear what none of y'all talking about right now. Like, and I think men like kind of it's tough to navigate in that space where like no matter where you go, nobody want to hear your opinion.
Yeah.
Right. So like, if you don't build that in them from what I'm saying at home, like when they're young, they're gonna end up in spaces where nobody care about what they think. So that eventually socializes you to just shut up. You just be like, it's cool. Nobody care what I say anyway. So that's why the suicide rate is so high, right? Like men don't speak. So like they just delete themselves. Like the rates are I don't know if you ever looked at it, but like the rates for men are insane. You know what I mean? Like, and especially in a certain age demographic. So like it's very normal for men not to socialize or to speak up for a multiple of reasons. And I'm glad that y'all saying the things that y'all saying because your sons need that space to like know that it's okay, even if they wrong. Like one thing my mother, I commend my mother for. Sometimes she just let me talk and she knew I was wrong. Like she knew I was saying absolute nonsense. I was passionate about it too.
Right.
Saying a whole lot of nothing, right? And she just let me get it off. You know what I mean? After I'm done, she'll be like, okay, you feel good now? I'll be like, yeah. And then she'll be like, well, let me tell you how this don't make sense. And then she'll be like, all right, listen, try it your way and see how it works. And I would try my way, and the shit wouldn't work. Yeah. I'd be like, all right, listen, it ain't working. So like, what was you talking about the other day?
Yeah.
Let's try it your way and see. I'm gonna keep trying it my way. I'm gonna try it a couple more times, but at least I want to hear what your way sound like.
Yeah, that makes sense. And even in those spaces, right, what you said, I did just hear about something last week where it was saying like the suicide rate of teenage boys, specifically minority boys, are the loneliest group that there is. Like they did a study and it was like teenage boys are the loneliest groups out of adults, women, kids. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So I know that directly correlates with like suicide rates, but have you guys picked up on, or like any of your students or mentees add with you too, like if your child or the children that you're around, the boys, they get too quiet, does that put you on high alert when they get too quiet around you? How do you deal with that?
For sure it does, because like even like when I had my mentorship group last year, I had like 40 boys in the mentorship group, and like I don't do like the bullying thing where like because they'll click up. They'll click up, and boys look for like the weaker ones. They look for the ones that ain't gonna speak up or that's gonna give them. They ain't gonna give them a hard time. They look for. We didn't do that. Like, we're not doing like once I see like y'all trying to isolate homeboy or y'all trying to do this. Nah, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Like you want to be you're that guy. Like the kids look at you as like one of those like you're one of the popular kids. They look at you on a basketball team or you play football. You got all that stuff going on. The girls like you. I'm gonna make you an example. We're gonna start with you.
All right.
We're gonna start with you, and then we're gonna figure out a way like to we're gonna break up all. But I do like that's something that is definitely necessary to pay attention to. Like once kids start isolating themselves, especially when it's stuff that's out of the norm, like when it's like not normal, and that's something that's outside of their normal character. Even if it's kids out there with the personality types that y'all sons have, and then they all of a sudden they just start isolating themselves too much. It's kind of like, nah, like it's okay to like need a second, but like it shouldn't take that much time for you to like come back and regroup and all of that. So like that's definitely one thing to pay attention to for sure. Like changing behavior, all of a sudden they super quiet. Like boys need like, and sometimes you gotta snatch them out of it, right? Like you gotta like pull them out of it. Like I've had to go get kids from their crib, you know what I mean? Or like, kid ain't been to school like a week and a half. What's going on? Like I called his mom. She's like, I thought he was in school. Nah, He ain't been showing up. He ain't been here like 2 weeks. Can you come get him? Yeah, I'll come get him right now. Show up at the door. He like, what you doing here? Oh no, I heard you ain't. I heard your mother told me she didn't even know you wasn't coming to school. So like, yeah, let me holler at you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you literally gotta pull these kids out of the funk that they in, right? Like, because it's not safe. Like, it's just not a safe space to be in. So you gotta like snatch them out of it sometimes, like, and let them know that you care. Because a lot of them, they don't think you care. Like, not even just the parents. It's like, I know my parents care, but then they mind, it's like they have no choice but to care. Like,
Right.
Then nobody else cares though. Right? It's just like my mom or my dad. That's it. Nobody else really give a damn if I show up. Even the other day, I talked to a kid. I'm like, yo, I noticed like you come 2 days a week, and then you might come 3 next week, and then 1 the week after. He's like, oh, you notice that? I'm like, yeah, I noticed that. What the hell is wrong with you? Like, what's up, bro? You know what I'm saying? Then he got some story. Like, it didn't make sense, but like, still, at least he feel like, okay, somebody's paying attention to when I'm not around. At least I matter when I'm not here, type of thing.
Right.
I think one thing to know, like, it's funny us being the adults, right? Like, when kids are like now, like, you notice that, and it's like, yeah, I've been there, done that. Like, I've tried my hand too, so I know what's up. Because I think at our age, I know, especially for me, like, my godsons are older. I have a godson that's 17, and I find myself, between that mom space and that homie space. Like, we can talk about whatever, we can be cool, but it's just, so to be in that space, to have to navigate kind of both spaces and navigate both personalities, if you will. Like, we talking on a mom tip, like, come on, I need you to get on your stuff. I need you to be focused, but then also, you want to tell me about your girlfriend. You want to tell me about what you and your homies doing. So, and I think as parents, before anybody, it's important for us to acknowledge like who our kids are. When something is wrong, they're not going to always articulate that. But even as they grow older, like, it's important. Like you said, our kids have big personalities. So if they retreat, or if they're in a room where they isolate, like, I know Carter, I know the Gemini in him, because it's me. Some days it's just like, I need my own space. I don't want to be bothered. And on those days, I'm like, you good? You need anything? But I know it's nothing deeper than that. But there are days when I'm looking at him and I'm like, I have to remember, yes, he's a kid, but he's also human. And as humans, we deal with, seasonal depression. We deal with things that impact us from the environment. So just like I go through it, my child could be going through it. And I need to figure out how to mitigate that, how to navigate, how to make sure, is that what it is, and then give him some pointers on, hey, I know how that feels, so maybe you can do some things, because mommy also deals with it, and it helps them to understand that, like, okay, I'm my mom's an adult, she's going through it too, so then they feel human.
Right. No, that's good. And even with let me ask y'all this, like, when you notice your child retreats, so your son retreats, I feel like just in the millennial stage, right? I used to have friends where it was like forbidden. They could not close their bedroom door, right? Like, that was like a no-fly zone. Like, ain't no closed doors in my house. I don't know what that was about, right? But a lot of kids went through that when we grew up. So like, now if I notice that my son is kind of quiet, or like, he just seemed a little distant today, he will say like, I just need some time, or like, he'll close his door and he just want to play his PS5. And I think back to my mom and the friends that I grew up with. I'm like, that would have never flew. But the human in me, the mom I'm not going to say always, but I'm overstimulated a lot, right? Just because I got 1,000,001 things happening at the same time. Even when I'm asleep, it's 1,000,001 things going through my brain. So I communicate to him, like, if he's like, Mommy, what's wrong? And I'm like, can y'all just be quiet for a second? Because I'm very overstimulated. And they looking at me like, I have a 6-year-old niece too, so my whole family treats them like twins. So 2 6-year-olds, I'm like, I'm very overstimulated and I just want y'all to shut your mouth for like 5 minutes. Like, or just don't follow me to the next room. I just need a breather. So when he does it, I'm like, you know what? He might just need a little bit of time to himself for like 20, 25, 30 minutes. And then eventually I'll come in. I'll be like, hey, what you know? He'll be like, nothing, just chilling, playing my game. And I'll be like, you good? And he'll be like, yeah. And I'll be like, well, you mind if I hang out in here? And he'll be like, yeah, come on, you can hang out. And I'm like, oh, well, can you teach? You know, I just be trying to connect. I'm like, okay, can you teach me how to play what I got to press? So it even like, in his room, I even created like he has a loft bed. So underneath the loft bed, I put like a little curtains up, and I'm like, this is your mini man cave. Like, if you want to fake just disappear, you want complete darkness in here, you got your little pillows, your books, your other games, your action figures. This is where you go to hide out, because as adults, we be in the bathroom sometimes, in the closet, like, oh my God, I'm gonna stick their fingers up underneath the door. So what do y'all do in those times where you know they're like being distanced, but you wanna it's not so much like, oh my gosh, like panic, he's being distant, but it's like you just need your space.
I do the same. I name how I'm feeling because that's just what I would want him to do. So like, and look, right now I'm very overstimulated. Like I do like this. I'm like, I'm feeling like this right now. So I just need 10 minutes. Check back in with me in 10 minutes. Yeah, maybe good. I just like make it seem like I need that for him to do. And he'll come back in 10 minutes. He's like, you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. But and so like in hopes that when he needs it, he'll tap into that too.
Right.
He won't necessarily say he's overstimulated, but like he'll be like, I'm gonna go in my room for a minute. I'm like, all right, cool. But then when he's ready to come out, he'll be like, Mom, you good? Like that's how he's telling me, like, I'm ready to come back out. Like I don't necessarily say like nothing to him. I give him his time, but his code word is like, Mom, you good? I'm like, you good? He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, come on. But yeah, definitely modeling that because
yeah, we all need it for sure.
Yeah, my kids don't believe in personal space at all. But I am, as both of you have said, like I get to that overstimulated space. I am the mom where like we don't close our doors in here. I get it. You can go in your room, take your time, but I prefer you. One, society has too much impact on our kids. So as much as I instill in my child, I'm still very careful and cautious. Like, what are you doing behind this closed door? I'm the mom. Like, I need to see through your. I need to go through your phone. I need to see who you talking to. So I don't want you to end up in something or doing something because you're behind a closed door.
Right.
Like I don't have a problem if you say, Mom, can I close my door? Especially as with their age gap, as my youngest is getting a little older and more mobile and in his space. My son, I know sometimes you just want your own space. So if you say I'm gonna go in my room and close my door so he can't come in, cool. But when I say I'm overstimulated, like I do, like Lauren said, I name it so you understand, so that in return, if that's what you're feeling, you can explain it to me, or you can let me know, like, this is what's up, Ma, and I just need to go. And what I have learned is that my kids don't see enough of my emotions. Like this weekend, I had a mom moment. I had a breakdown. My sister was there, but I'm crying, and my kids don't know my oldest doesn't know how to handle that. So, and it's like, well, I didn't want to. I was worried about you. He went with his friends. We were all in the mall, and so he went with his cousins and his friends, and they were, doing their own thing. But he was like, I was worried. I didn't know how you were, if you were okay. So in my mind, I'm like, I don't show them my emotion enough. Like sometimes they need to see mommy's full on emotion so that they know how to, okay, my mom's fine, give her a minute, she'll bounce back, but she just needs some space right now.
Right.
So I think I'm learning with them, obviously, and I'm glad. Like their age gap works for me because me and my oldest kind of tested out. So now, as I'm doing it all over again, it's like the do's and don'ts of being a mom, if you will.
Yeah. And I think too with this, all of us are learning. I don't know at what age did all of y'all what we're doing with our kids, we're teaching them emotional intelligence. But at what age did you learn emotional intelligence? Like where it really was like, oh, this is what this is.
This
Like,
big age when I decided to go to therapy myself, when I made that adult decision.
yeah. What about you, Ad?
Like I always feel like I was always like I wouldn't call it like emotionally aware or intelligent. I wouldn't have called it that, but I was always like self conscious. Like I
Right.
was always self conscious. I was always like aware of how I showed up in different spaces and how I felt and how other people felt around me. And I was always aware of like how I made other people feel. I didn't know what that was. I was just like
Yeah.
always like hyper aware of like how I just behaved around people and how what mood I was in and all of that type of stuff. But to have a language, I probably didn't have a language till like probably like 2016, 17. So I was probably like, how old am I? I was probably in like my late 20s. I was probably
Yeah.
like my late 20s when I started to figure out like, oh, okay, so that's what this is versus okay, this is how I cope with this, and this is how I move, or this is what makes me feel like this. I probably had that around like my late 20s. I started to understand that better.
What about you, Lauren?
I think as a teacher, at some point, I think it was like 2017-ish, they got really big on like social emotional learning,
Mm-hmm.
and just like having morning meetings and talking about feelings and how to engage and what to do in those moments. So we got a lot of training on it, as a teacher.
Right.
So around that time is when it started to click to me that yes, to Ed's point, this is how I've always like shown up. Like I've always been, regulated emotionally,
Yeah.
and just pretty aware of how I show up. But just like naming, like, oh, this is a thing, and some people just really don't have this.
Mm-hmm.
2017, 2018, which is when my son was born. So it was just kind of like something that I've learned on the way, just raising him and just kind of trying to instill that in him as I learned, as I work with 4 and 5 year olds every day.
Yeah.
Just like this is something that I want him to be able to do, and this is how I want him to show up.
Yeah. I think for me, it was recent. I was like 30.
Mm-hmm.
And like Ab and you said, Lauren, like I knew how I made people feel. I knew how people responded to me, but I didn't know that was the term and all of the things that I was feeling. So I feel like sometimes kids bring the best out of you in that. So I always use the phrase of like when I had my son, that was the rebirth of me. And like did a total 360 in ways you wouldn't like, oh, I'm not changing this, but you do change. So all of our life experiences and the things we set out to do and our aspirations, I think by recognizing it and not being in denial about like emotional intelligence, emotional awareness, it helps us better navigate those spaces with our children and the children that we influence and mentor, because all of us serve as a mentor outside of our own kids and family members. But yeah, it's kind of scary because it wasn't talked about. I don't remember that term or those terms being discussed at all as a child.
Nope.
So just imagine the young boys who parents aren't emotionally in tune with themselves or the people around them, how they navigate, how they're showing up on the field, in sports, in school, amongst their friends, amongst their own family members. Like that's a scary thing.
Yeah.
I say that all the time. Like in teaching, I teach in Southeast. So it's like the stuff I'm teaching these kids, I'm like, y'all think the parents need to come in? Y'all think they need to know what we're teaching their kids so they can kind of enforce it or model it the same way? Because sometimes, I've had interactions with parents, and I'm like, whoa, this little kid may get this from. I'm not pointing no fingers. I'm not judging, but the apple don't fall too far. So it's almost like, to everyone's point, like, yes, it's definitely something that was not taught when we were growing up, and I think that it just needs to be brought to the forefront a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to that point, like you guys are saying, like, I knew how I made people feel and things like. So because it wasn't talked about, it wasn't on my mind. Like I didn't. It wasn't like I wasn't aware of how I made people feel. I knew how I felt, and I said this. I've told my therapist this, like being spoiled, being the only child for 12 years, being the oldest grandchild, that messed me up because now as an adult, I realized like it wasn't. I'm so used to getting my way. So while I can handle no, I don't like no. Like and so it's just. But that's something I had to learn about myself. So and I've always been in spaces where I've always been the youngest, but people navigate to me. Like my older friends, they all navigate to me. So in these older years, and that's why I say now for me, because I'm learning that where I become self-aware, there are people older adults that they see that and they navigate to that because it's something that they never dealt with because it wasn't talked about in our generation. So those generations before us
Right.
definitely wasn't. It was a kid is a kid. You stay in a kid's place, and that's that.
Yeah.
We had a little bit. It was a little bit. It was that for us, but it was a little different. So I think with every generation, that plays a part on it as well. Um, but yeah, so it's just I didn't know I wasn't aware because it wasn't a conversation, if you will. Whereas now we're teaching our kids. It's important for us to teach our kids that because they're influenced and impacted by so much around them, and you're trying to build that foundation. So
Yeah. And even going back to the point about your kids stay in a child's place, like I had a family member one time tell me, like, you give them too many options. Why are you letting? And I'm like, yeah, because this is not you gonna do what I say, and I know everything, and I don't know everything. I'm not pretending to know everything. I'm not perfect. You won't be perfect either. So it's like I'm not trying to be a dictator to my child. Like I don't want you to. I think in my past life I was like a free spirit, like flower child. So it's like I know if I feel like somebody's trying to be a dictator to me, I'm gonna buck the system. I know what that looks like and what that feels like. I'm not trying to dictate anything. I'm only here to guide you as best as I can.
Hey, it's funny. Like in my last, my ex, right? I help her raise her son or whatever. And when I first got into the picture with that situation, he was 4 years old. And I was like the person that you just talked about. I used to be like, bro, why do you give him so many like options? Like it was almost annoying to me at the point, right? Because I wasn't raised with options, right? It was
Right.
like, nigga, this is this is what we're doing. Like, what I mean? I wasn't raised with options. So seeing a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old grow up with like options and him being able to pick and choose certain things, it was like, no, what is this? Like, where am I? Like, but now that he's 17 going on 18, and I'm seeing like the type of young man that he is, how independent he is, how like he can make decisions for himself, and like, what I'm saying, you still need to, of course, like maybe help
Right.
mold, right? But he's a lot more independent, I think, than I was at that point. So like seeing the benefits of that's just that small little example right there is enough for me to like kind of switch the way that I'm gonna do it when my time comes. Because like again, like, and I think that's another thing that comes with like having a voice, right? Like having him, having options, him being able to vocalize his thoughts and opinions. You know what I mean? Him just doing those small things compounded with time when he gets to a certain age, it's not gonna be nothing. It's not gonna be nothing to think about. Like, this is how I feel. This is, you know what I mean? This is what I think makes sense. This is how I want to move, et cetera, et cetera. and that's just what it's going to be. Like that's going to be a norm to him. That's not going to be something that's like foreign territory. He's going to understand like I want to move like this. This is what I like. I don't like that. You know what I mean? Rather than just being a dude that's just like, and y'all, we all know people like this, men and women that just go along, just be like, I don't know what I like, whatever you want to do. And then you get two people that's like, whatever you want to do, whatever. It's kind of like this shit not going nowhere.
Two
Like,
people together like that is the worst.
yeah. So it's like, nah, bro, make it like for men, make a decision, right? Like
Yes.
the man who's dated women, I'm used to women who can't figure out what they want to eat or what. I'm used to that. That's a norm. But like when men do it, it's annoying. Even for me as a man, I'm like, bro, like what?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? Make a decision. Like it's not that deep. Like just I don't care what it is. Like just and we just live. And I think that comes with trial and error, like making decisions, them not going right, pivoting, trying it again, trying something else, figuring it out. Like you have to stumble a lot.
Yeah.
To Lauren's point earlier, how she was saying, like, sometimes moms try to skip steps and be like, let me just make you the finished product. It's like you can't be the finished product because you don't understand how much work, time, effort, how much blood, sweat, and tears went into the making of this man that you revere. Like the man that you're trying to make him become, that man had to go through hell and high water to become that virgin. He just looked clean now.
Yeah.
But like he didn't start like that. Like he had to go through. Like my wife is a benefactor of all the bad choices that I made prior to. You know what I'm saying? Like, so she's getting the benefits of me figuring it out, messing it up. Like she's getting the benefits of that. If that never happened and this was my first go around, it would probably be a disaster.
Yeah, for sure. And I think even with the like going back to the giving the kids options, giving the boys options, there's a boundary. Like you're not getting a buffet of options now.
Yeah.
A or B, we might throw in a C sometimes, but I also think, like you said, that helps with their decision making, that helps with their opinion. And when they get older, it will help them become a better leader. Like they'll be able to lead. Like sometimes I might even do things with like, okay, well, what you want to eat for dinner? And he'll be like, I might say, I'm thinking you want Chick-fil-A or Panda Express. I'm not talking, we eating at home. I'm not that strict on that type of thing because I'm also not a major cook either. But it's like, I'll let him make the decision because it's like at some point you are going to have to lead your spouse or whoever you're around. You're going to have to make the decision. You're going to have to be a leader, even if it's something small like that. Like, no, you lead us. All right, I'm gonna follow you. I'm gonna follow your lead on this. So do y'all like experience like testing the waters with like, no, y'all, you can make the final decision on this?
Yeah, I think it spins back around to the topic for tonight, helping him find his voice. Because it teaches them accountability too. So to Ab's point, you end up dating a woman or marrying a woman who is the indecisive type. I'm the indecisive type. So sometimes I need you to lead that. I need you to have the voice to say, give me the options. Like, here are two options. We're going to narrow it down. Or be the planner and say, I'm taking you here, knowing it teaches you, like, I know what you like. So I found this place. I know they have options you like. We're going to go here. And just using that as an example. But I think that accountability piece is really big. Because with the options, like I tell my son all the time, life is about, and my dad used to tell me, it's about choices and consequences. So if I give you choices, it's because I want you to know that, whatever choice you make, there's going to be a consequence, whether good or bad. Just like with school, your only responsibility is to go to school, do what you got to do, get your grades. That's your job. Carter all the time, he'll tell you, my job is to go to school. Like that is my money maker in theory, because right. The way this world is set up, that is, I got to teach you now. I want you to be able to make your own money, but I need you to understand, like, you have to show up for something every day, just like I have to show up for something. And depending on how you perform, like, that is, the reward is either going to be, so you have a choice to either perform well or you don't perform well, but those consequences. And he hates a grade below a C. He'll take a C, and that's like, hold on, wait, why is this a C? Like he's going to test it. He's going to, and I'm proud because as he's getting older, he's taking that initiative and he's holding himself accountable. Like he had all B's on his report card and he was like, yeah, that's not enough. So, it's just, it teaches them, giving them options. I think older people, older generations, or people that, I was raised by my grandparents, but being raised by your grandparent and not being allowed to choose, do you want broccoli or do you want carrots? Like just the small things, it puts you in a box and it makes you, it can make you feel like I don't have a choice. I don't have a voice. I just got to go along with whatever the people around me say. And that's not the way the world works.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Again, like people will run you in a circle, bro. They'll run you in a circle. I think it's y'all touched on like emotional regulation and understanding like where you are and I think for me, like part of the reason I stayed in education so long, because there's days I'll be like, all right, bro, like I love these kids, man, but yeah, I can't do it. But so I had those days, but like I also had those days where I know that a lot of the young men, and not only in my classes, but in the building in general, they look at me a certain way, right? And I know that I have to be responsible with that because that's gonna shape a lot of way that they see manhood, right? Like, so if they see me when things are going wrong, flipping out and don't like they're gonna in their mind they're gonna be like, okay, this is what men do when things ain't going their way, right? So like I go out of my way to like talk my way through certain things with them, right? Aloud, so they can see like how I'm thinking. And sometimes it's uncomfortable for them. And you can see like I've never seen a man like, you know what I'm saying, have these conversations. I've never seen a man be vulnerable or maybe like today, matter of fact, I had a conversation with we had a new administrator in the building. And I didn't see the lady, right? I didn't see her. But the kids were describing her and then they kept saying her name. I was like, that name sounds familiar. Turns out she was my administrator in high school. So I'm like, bro, what is happening? And I'm saying this out loud. I'm like, yo, what is going on? I'm like, Mr. John, what's going on? I'm like, the lady y'all talking about was my administrator in high school. And they like, what? What? Are you sure? I'm like, it's gotta be her. The way you just described her and then the name, that's like a unique name. So like, it's 100% her. And they were like, I was like, she definitely suspended me once or twice. And they were like, you got suspended. So I'll be like, yeah, I was making dumb decisions. I did this, that, and the third. I paid for it. It was silly. It was dumb. It was irresponsible. You know what I mean? So I try to walk it so they can see like, oh, he's a human being. Like, because I know for sure I never saw my mother as like a human being. Let her tell it. She was the greatest student ever. She never nothing. She never got in a car accident. Never drank nothing, smoked nothing. She was. God placed her here, and then I was born. Like let her like so like I never saw her as a human being. So like when my kids see me as an adult, somebody that they can respect and still be a human being, and I can walk them through my stages of life, they were more open to ask me questions. You know what I mean? Even like past students I don't even teach no more. I haven't taught in 3-4 years. They in 11th grade, 12th grade now. They asking me, you know, saying questions that pertain to whatever level of life they are, because they remember certain conversations that we had, and I was telling about like some experiences I had in high school, or things about college. So even kids that they don't care about college now. A lot of them, the way I talk about it, when they hear college, they just think, damn, more school. Right, but you know what I'm saying? Like I'm telling them, like, no, I actually had a great time. Like I had a good time. I made some great friends. I traveled this place. I went to this, so they look at things a little bit different. So I think like that's something that I'm very aware of.
Yeah,
I'm very, very aware of it, and I try to give them a space to like be open, as long as it's respectful, to be open with their thoughts and voice their opinions about whatever different topic comes up. I try to give them that space. I'm not trying to muffle them, and I'm not trying to keep it so rigid where they like, are we only going to talk about this today and that's it? They don't know what's going to happen. They don't know what I'm going to say, or they have no idea. So they're excited to be there. They're like, I don't know what Mr. John going to say today, or who he going to make fun of. I don't know how this is going to go. So I got to be there to see this. Like that's the energy that, you know what I'm saying, that's in the room.
Yeah, I love that.
I got some tips, right? Because I know we about to wrap, so I got some tips. Right? Tip number one, right? Give him opportunities to share his opinion, even if he's saying something you absolutely don't agree with. Right? Let him get it out, and then walk it through with him. You know what I'm saying? Flesh out the logic. Like, don't ridicule him. Don't tell him he don't know what he's talking about. You only been here for 3 years. You only been on Earth for 5 years. You don't have no. Like, don't do that. Like, let him get it off, right? Even if it makes no sense. Okay. Check in with him to see how his life is going, not just his schoolwork, how his life is going. Like, ask him how his life is going. You know what I mean? Volunteer information about how your life was at his age, right? Tell some funny stories. Make yourself human to them. Because
Right.
they look at parents. I know I did. We look at our parents like they're not relatable people. Like, they're not human beings. Like, they go to work, they come home, we just see them miserable, or they tired. You know, they don't look human. Like, that's not my life. I come home, I got energy. I'm trying to play the game. You just mad. You know, I ain't take the chicken out. Like, we don't live the same life. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, let them see that you're a human being who went through the experiences that they had. Like, offer him chances to lead, like y'all said earlier, right? Give him something that he can lead in, or he can make a decision about. Like, I tell my cousin, like, yo, like, listen, he like 11, 10 years old. Like, make him pump the gas. Like, like, make him pump the gas whenever y'all go to the gas station. As long as it's not like at night or nothing crazy. As long as it's safe, he should be pumping the gas every time y'all stop somewhere. And he should know we at the gas station. All right, she's 89, type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Make him do that. Like, make that his thing to do. You know what I mean? Maybe give him a little reward so he's excited to do it. But like that kind of thing.
Yep.
So we don't be at. I was at the gas station a couple weeks ago. It was a lady pumping the gas. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I look over her dude in the seat on his cell phone. I was like, damn, bro. I wanted to tap on the window, like, bro, are you disabled? My nigga, where your legs, bro? Get your ass on the car. Like,
Vicious.
bro, that's crazy. I wanted to take a picture and everything, but like, let me mind my business, bro. Tip number, what's that? 4. Let him know that, like, his voice matters. Like, him speaking up matters. Him voicing his opinion matters. Like, one thing I used to be scared of, that shit used to frighten me. And I don't know why. Like, making an order at a restaurant, that shit used to scare me, dog. I used to be like, order for me. Like, I don't order for me. Like, I used to be like that. Like, call in someplace. Like, you know what I mean? To like place an order or something like that. That used to like, I did not like doing none of that.
Hold on, is that why it's such a running joke on TikTok when guys be like, let me speak to the manager when the guy mess up the order and the girlfriend come out.
Right, exactly. It's because like y'all was always taught that y'all voice meant something. Like, man, nobody ever told us how voice means something. Like, and when we do speak, it's like too aggressive. It's too much. It's like, so like we didn't necessarily learn that finesse. So I just didn't. That always made me uncomfortable when I was young. Like, until I got a little older, then I was I got no choice. Like, you know what I'm saying? So let him know that his voice means something. His voice matters. And then the last one, you kind of got to introduce values to him, right? Because they come like a blank slate. So you got to, I call it we language, like tell them what we do, right? Over here, I don't know what they doing, but this is how we do this, right? And then give him the space to experience life, to learn, and then figure out how he do it, right? Because it might not be the same as the way you do it when he lead his family.
Right.
It might be different, and you can't take that as disrespect, right? Because I know a lot of parents, they like, nah, I didn't raise you like this. Now you are out here doing something completely different. If he ain't hurting nobody, if he's still a good person, listen, it might just be different than the way you do it. Maybe his, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those are my tips.
Those is good. Those is definitely good.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
All right, so y'all anybody else got anything before we wrap?
I think that I was gonna ask Britt and Lauren if it was one thing that you could, any piece of advice that you could give a boy mom trying to navigate helping her child find his voice, one thing, one sentence, or anything that she can relinquish to help him find his voice. Please share that with their mom.
I think I may have said something similar on a previous episode, but just being in their safe space, letting them know that they have that safe space, letting them know that they can be open, They can be comfortable with talking to you. They're not going to give you what they give their friends in full detail, but be their friend without being their little friend, if you will. Like, just just having that, I don't know, just like I said, that safe space, opening up the door so that they know, man, I can take this to my mom. Let me go ask my mom. I think we all talked about, as women, we can't teach you how to be a man, but bring it to me. Let me see what it is. Maybe I can make a phone call and have somebody help you, or even to be able to say, Mom, it's not for you. I need to talk to my dad, my uncle, my coach, whoever it is. Building that confidence is a big thing too. So making sure, as you're setting the foundation, that they're confident in whatever hinders their confidence, trying to help them navigate and work through that. So know your kids, man. That is so important to me. Like, watch your kids, know their habits, know what makes them excited, what makes them sad. That to me is the biggest thing, because the first person somebody's gonna pick up the phone and call is the parent. Your child did this, your child did that. And you can be able to say, well, I know they did, but so
Yeah,
just be their safe space, and make sure they have that confidence that the world is going to test them for.
for sure.
What Britt said, and then also modeling what you want him to do. So, if you want him to exude confidence, if you want him to show emotional regulation, you could name that. You could speak it. Like, right now, I'm so upset because my phone is not working, or this Wi-Fi is shut off, or whatever.
Yeah,
I've been on hold for a whole hour. Just whatever it is, say it. Say how you're feeling, and then, like, let them see you handling that emotion, or whatever it is. Like, I'm feeling really nervous about speaking on this podcast today.
hmm,
Like, this is what I'm going to do to practice. So, like, just like doing a little self-talk, so they
yeah.
can hear what you're doing, so they can see what you're doing. Like, oh yeah, that's what she's doing. You know, I think that also is going to help.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
like training ground.
for
for
sure.
sure. And to piggyback on what you said, Lauren, for me, I would tell a boy mom affirmations and speaking life into yourself and into your child, because speaking affirmations over yourself will help you find your voice. And for me, I tell my son, like, you a big dog. You a big dog. Can't nobody little bow wow you ever in life, because you carry favor. I carry favor, therefore you carry favor. So it's like, if you know this and you're working on you teaching them confidence and nurturing that confidence in them, it'll help them find their voice by just speaking life into them and making them practice it on themselves. So like you said, model it so they can model that same behavior, but give them the space to spread their wings and
Yep.
find their voice. So
Love
yeah,
it. Love it, man. I appreciate y'all again for joining us for this episode 8. Man in the middle. If y'all need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. Okay. My DMs are open. So again, Bianca, Brittany, Lauren, thank y'all.
thank you.
Y'all have a good night, man. We
Good
out here.
You
Thanks,
too.
Ab. You have a good
night.
one.
Good night,
See
y'all.
y'all.